Hi guys, we are back on the 79 Camaro, and it's time we get serious on this thing. Got it all jacked up. We are going to be pulling out the 350 turbo tranny because it's gone south. I have located another one in working condition. Only paid $300 for it, so we'll be slapping that in here, and that will give us a running and driving 79 Camaro. And then I can get onto the bodywork, finish it out, and get her ready for paint. So, a lot of you already know how to pull out a transmission. You've done this many times. But there's quite a few people out there, you'll be surprised, that have no clue on how to pull out a tranny. So I'm going to give them a little quick lesson in what you got to do, a little demo, what's all involved in it. And number one rule is you want to have safety. I pulled out about probably around 20-25 transmissions in my time, and I started out in the field, out in grass and dirt, and that's no fun. Jack stands will sink into the ground, and it's kind of a scary issue. But here we are on concrete, we are in the garage, so it's a lot safer, easier environment to work in. But nevertheless, you definitely want to have jack stands. I got 4 jack stands under it. I've got blocks under the wheels just for safety precautions. All 4 tires, I got cylinder blocks in the back, and I still got the jack under the car. So I will not be getting squashed by a Camaro. That's not gonna happen. Now, if it was a 57 Chevy or a 68 Charger or something, I could live with that. But a Camaro? Come on. So anyway, for you new timers out there that never pulled a tranny, you definitely want to disconnect your battery. But as you see, we don't even have one in here yet, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm way ahead of the game. I'm going to get on the other side so I can show y'all a little easier on your first steps on what to do. Alright, so here's your transmission. That's your transmission pan and the whole thing here. Here's your shifter linkage. It's hooked up. You want to take note. Back in the day we just had to memorize it, but nowadays you got smart cameras and all that, so take all the pictures you want to kind of know where your where your shift linkage hooks up, and anything else that you may forget, where your bolts go, blah blah blah. This here is called your dust cover. That's the first thing I'm going to remove, is I'll be removing that dust cover, and it's held on by these little, on this case it's a 10 millimeters, but sometimes they're 3/8, sometimes they're 7/16, but there'll be like 5 or 6 bolts holding this on. So we remove the dust cover, and that will allow you to see your torque converter that's mounted to the flywheel. Now the flywheel, most of you know, is mounted to the back of the engine, but there will be 3 bolts holding your torque converter onto your flywheel, so you have to remove those 3 bolts. You have to remove the linkage. You have to remove the transmission mount, which is right here. This is your transmission mount, because you're going to have to remove this transmission cross member, but you don't want to do that yet. You can loosen it, but leave the member on there for now, kind of help hold your tranny up while you take out the bell housing bolts. You have your drive shaft. This is your drive shaft right here, and this is where it inserts into the rear end of the transmission. On the other end, it hooks to your differential. You're going to have a U-joint down there, so you need to disconnect it there, the U-joints, and pull out your drive shaft. Pull it out, put it to the side, and there will be transmission lines on the other end, on the other side of the transmission. I'll show you that later. There'll be two transmission lines you're going to have to disconnect. And the dipstick, you can pull it out from the top. You'll have to disconnect that. And then you're going to have to pull your starter. It's on the other side as well. And then you're going to have bell housing bolts. Can't really show you here, but I'll try to give you a little. Let's see if I can even get y'all the range there. You will have some bell housing bolts. There's going to be one like right here, and then right above it there's one. Same thing on the other side. You'll have one here and one right above it. Then you'll have one more or two more on the top of your bell housing. This here is the bell housing of the transmission. That's your dust cover. Bell housing here. And usually it's 5 bolts, sometimes 6 bolts for your bell housing. And you unbolt that, you will be loose from the motor. And you're going to have to put a jack down here, kind of. You can put it under your pan, you know, you can put it like a 2x4 or something, so you don't do any damage to your tranny pan. In this case, this is an old tranny that it's no good, so it doesn't really matter. But slap your jack under here, kind of hold it up to help support it. Then you can remove your cross member the rest of the way. And yeah, that's about it. And wiggle it out. It's gonna take a little more than wiggling, but a couple guys, no problem. Doing it by myself, it's gonna be a fun little challenge. But done it before when I was younger, but now I'm getting old. It's like it's gonna be a hell of a challenge. But I'll yank this out of here and we can show you where we're at from there and get ready to slap into the next 350 turbo. Now I'm gonna try to jack this up a little higher so I can use my creeper. But to save a mess in your garage, you know, I have all these old things laying around, blankets and whatnot. So I just slap one down because all this grease and dirt and gum and grime is gonna fall to the ground. And that way I could just slide this blanket out, wad it up and throw it away. Easy cleanup. So that's about it. I just wanted to give a little demo for the people out there that haven't pulled the tranny out yet or not quite sure how. Anyway, I'm gonna get set up and start turning some wrenches, this tranny going, and bring y'all along for the ride.